Okay, everybody, let's see this. The invincible Borra tearing a European country apart.
When you look at a
Let's
map
go.
of Europe, Bosnia and Herzegovina sits right in the heart of the Balkans, a beautiful, crumpled landscape of mountains and rivers. It's often called the heart-shaped land, a poetic description for a country whose recent history has been anything but. And it's this exact history that has left Bosnia and Herzegovina a very divided country, just not in the way you're probably thinking. But to understand the human-made fault lines that truly define the country today, we first have to understand the land itself. This video is sponsored by KiwiCo. The name Bosnia and Herzegovina itself suggests there's a duality at play here. It's a natural starting point, and for many, it's the assumed division. Bosnia, the much larger northern and central region, gets its name from the Bosna River that flows through its core. This is a land of rolling green hills, dense forests, and fertile plains that follow the path to other major rivers like the Sava, which forms the border with Croatia. It's a continental climate, with cold, snowy winters and warm summers, a landscape that feels very Central European. Then there's Herzegovina to the south. The name means Herzog's land, a reference to a 15th century duke who ruled the area. Geographically, it couldn't be more different. This is a Mediterranean world. The landscape is dominated by rugged, karst mountains and caves. It's drier, rockier, and home to the stunning Neretva River, which carves its way through deep canyons on its way to the Adriatic. But here's where the first twist in our story appears. While this distinction between Bosnia and Herzegovina is real, historically and geographically, it's not the division that splits the country in two. The answer is far more complicated, and the landscape only gives us the first clue. You see, the true backbone of
Honestly, nothing's gonna split Bosnia in two. Nothing, bro.
Bosnia and Herzegovina is the Dinaric Alps. This formidable mountain range cuts diagonally across the country from northwest to southeast, a sea of jagged peaks. For centuries, these mountains have acted as both a barrier and a refuge. They separated coastal Mediterranean influences from the continental interior, creating distinct cultural and economic zones. During times of conflict, from the Roman Empire to the 1900s, these mountains provided a natural fortress for those seeking shelter and a daunting obstacle for invading armies. In fact, they are so effective at dividing the land that they almost entirely sever the country
Bruv, many armies has crushed their teeth in Bosnia, bruv.
from the sea. While neighboring Croatia enjoys a spectacular, sprawling coastline, Bosnia and Herzegovina is nearly landlocked, touching the Adriatic Sea along a tiny 20-kilometer stretch known as the Neum Corridor. This sliver of coast, a historic quirk left over from centuries-old treaties, is a perfect metaphor for the
Bosnia looks like that because after the Ottoman Empire, they lost territories to the West. The West tried kinda recreate the Venetian, was it the Venetian? I don't remember was it Venetians? I don't know. I think Venetian Empire again. Or kind of something like that.
country itself, a gateway to the wider world, yet profoundly constrained by lines drawn long ago. These mountains have separated empires and climates, but an even more powerful force of division was brewing in the valleys below, something that topography alone couldn't contain. But if the mountains are the country's bones, the rivers are its veins. The Drina River, in particular, has been more than just a river line on a map. For centuries, it was seen as the dividing line between the East and West, the conceptual meeting point of the Western and Eastern Roman empires, and later of Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman influence. It's a place steeped in history, but it wouldn't stay that way. The modern division of Bosnia would not follow this historic river. It would be drawn with ink, not water, cutting right through communities that had once shared these riverbanks for generations. The physical geography of Bosnia and Herzegovina is a story of dramatic contrasts. Lush valleys and barren rock, continental forests and Mediterranean sun. It's a land that both connects and isolates. So perhaps it's not so divided that the country has become so divided. But then again, it wasn't always this way. Bosnia's geography is more complex than most, and to better truly something for every curious kid. That for centuries was only held together by the story of Bosnia and Herzegovina is the story of crossroads, a place where great empires, religions, and ideologies collided, leaving behind a culture so intricate and complex that for centuries was only held together by larger powers. And when those powers disappeared, it was deliberately pulled apart. Long before the arrival of the great powers that would shape its destiny, a distinct Bosnian identity was already taking root. In the High Middle Ages, the Kingdom of Bosnia emerged as a powerful player in the Balkans. It was a Slavic state, fiercely independent and situated precariously between the Catholic Empire of Hungary to the north and the Orthodox power of Serbia and the Byzantine Empire to the southeast. What made medieval Bosnia particularly unique was the presence of the Bosnian Church, a Christian institution that followed its own path, independent of both the Pope in Rome and the Patriarch in Constantinople. This spiritual independence fostered a unique.
There was many religions in Bosnia, but yeah, there was a Bosnian church, but it wasn't like it's called a church now because called they called religious places of worship churches back then. So it wasn't like a church like Christian church. It was a place of worship. They worshipped one God. The God didn't have any sons. They were monotheists. What's it called? You know, man, one God, nothing else. Not three gods, not the Holy Ghosts, not anything else. No saints, no nothing. In that time.
Political and cultural identity. But this kingdom was also living.
And this Slavic, I don't know why he says Slavic. There's no Slavic, bro. The Slavic, forget about it. The population there was not Slavic. Majority is Bosnian and Illyrian. It's the oldest. The Bosnian gene is some of the oldest in Europe. So I don't know why he's speaking about the Slavs, bruv. There's no Slavs, bruv. Yeah, there is a couple of them who got imported and all of this, but they're not like a majority, and they're not like what do you call it? They're not majority, and they're not indigenous to the land.
On borrowed time, as it was positioned directly in the path of a rising global superpower from the east. The Ottoman conquest in the mid-1400s wasn't just a change of ruler, it fundamentally remade Bosnian society. Over the next 400 years, the Ottomans introduced Islam, new architecture, and a completely different way of organizing a multi-religious state. Many local Bosnians converted to Islam. This process was complex, driven not by
not many. 99.999 became Muslim after the Ottomans in 76 years, I think. Everybody become Muslim. Everybody.
force, but by the social, political, and economic advantages that came with joining the faith of the ruling class. This period is the origin of the Bosniaks, the native Slavic Muslim population of Bosnia. The Ottomans governed their diverse.
Again, there was no Slavic. I don't know why he keeps saying Slavic.
Subjects through the Malay system, which allowed religious communities, Orthodox Christians, Catholics, Jews, and Muslims, to rule over their own affairs, from education to family law. On one hand, this created a remarkably pluralistic society where mosques, churches, and synagogues could be found in the same neighborhood, particularly in Sarajevo. But the system had a hidden consequence that would only become clear centuries later. By organizing society so strictly along religious lines, it fused faith with identity. An Orthodox Christian was a Serb, a Catholic was a Croat, and a Muslim, over time, became a Bosniak.
That is not true. That is definitely not true. Ugh, bro, we have heard this 1,000,000 times. This is not true. The Croats are not indigenous to that area, and the Serbs are not indigenous to that area. There are Bosnians who are Christians, but they are Bosnians. But the Croats and Serbs are not indigenous to that area. They got moved in by Austria and Hungary when they had an alliance. Yeah, Austria, they moved them in. The Croats and the Serbs, the Turks moved them in. Because the Turks, they moved them in because of uprising. The what's it called? Austrians, they moved them in to get a bigger population of Catholics in Bosnia. So yeah. So this guy, he gotta speak the truth and the fact.
Game changer came when this imperial framework, which had held this delicate balance for centuries, began to crumble. In 1878, the declining Ottoman Empire ceded control.
It didn't just crumbled out of the blue. But yeah, sure.
Role of Bosnia to another great power, Austria-Hungary. The Habsburgs brought with them industrialized
Yep, we got sold. Bosnia got sold by the Sultan for money. Yes, Abdul Hamid, he sold Bosnia.
railroads, and grand European architecture. But they also walked into a region simmering with a new and potent ideology, nationalism. The 19th century dream of the nation-state, where each ethnic group should have its own country, had swept across Europe, and the newly independent Kingdom of Serbia looked to Bosnia's Orthodox Serbs as part of its national project, while Croatians saw the region's Catholics as theirs.
First off, before all of this, we gotta go through the first Balkan Wars, the second Balkan Wars. We gotta go through all the wars in Balkan. Bro, this video is definitely not informative. This is bullshit. This is Wikipedia slop. This is Goy slop. This is Goy slop. This is bullshit, bro. Bro, this is just a fucking introduction, bro, to genocide, bro. This bullshit, bro.
The Bosniaks, of course, were caught in the middle.
This is the same thing like moving in populations like Mexico and the Mexico-American wars. American population moved into Mexico because Mexicans let them, and after sometimes all those guys who moved in, they started to remove the Mexicans from there.
Their identity distinct yet coveted by competing nationalist claims. This volatile mix of imperial ambition and local aspiration turned Bosnia into a powder keg. In 1914, in the heart of Sarajevo, a Bosnian Serb nationalist assassinated the Austro-Hungarian.
He was not Bosnian, he was Serb. Stop saying Bosnian Serb. There's not such thing as Bosnian Serb.
Archduke Franz Ferdinand, igniting the First World War. This moment put Bosnia at the center of the world stage, but the deeper question of its own identity had yet to be resolved. After 2 world wars, Bosnia and Herzegovina became just one of the 6 republics of the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. Under the charismatic and authoritarian rule of Josip Broz Tito, a new mantra was enforced: brotherhood and unity. Tito suppressed the nationalist sentiments that had torn the
That's bullshit. Brotherhood was made on the backs on others, where one ethnic group was above any other ethnic group. Bruv, this guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about, man. He's just read on Wikipedia some bullshit and now he thinks he's fucking some kind of academic. Bruv, this video is the fucking goy slop. This is shit.
Balkans apart and instead promoted a shared Yugoslav identity. He also poured resources into Bosnia, celebrating it as a model republic where Serbs, Croats, and Muslims could live together in harmony. In the 1970s, he even formally recognized Muslim as a distinct nationality, giving Bosniaks equal constitutional status with Serbs and Croats for the first time. And for decades, the experiment worked. A generation grew up identifying as Yugoslavs, marrying across ethnic and religious.
What did you say? Wait.
Muslim as a distinct nationality, giving Bosniaks equal constitutional status where Serbs, Croats, and Muslims could live together in harmony. In the 1970s, he even formally recognized Muslim as a distinct nationality, giving Bosniaks equal constitutional even formally recognized Muslims could live together in harmony. In the 1970s, he even formally
1970s. Bro. All this is bullshit, man. There's so much history he don't cover. It's such a bullshit. Fuck Tito. Tito, he was a fucking bad guy. He was fucking piece of shit human being. That's who he is. He employed the worst of the worst people that could be employed. He employed them. Bruv, this guy, I don't know how many people he got killed and how many the guys he put in power, how many people they killed. So, this guy, fuck him.
Recognized Muslim as a distinct nationality, giving Bosniaks equal constitutional status with Serbs and Croats for the first.
Giving Bosnians the right to call themselves Muslim. No, bro, we're not Muslim. Bosnians are Bosnians, my friend. You, Tito, are not from Bosnia, so get the fuck out of there.
First time. And for decades, the experiment worked. A generation grew up identifying as Yugoslavs, marrying across.
That is not true. Anybody who didn't swear allegiance to the Communist Party, they got deleted. They got expelled, or they got deleted, or it depends on how serious the Communist Party they felt you are a threat for them. If you are low threat, they would make your life hell. They would make sure you never got work. They would make sure, bro. They would make sure you never made it any way anyhow. Number two, they expel you. Number three, they kill you. Nothing else. If you
ethnic
didn't
and
swear allegiance to this communist party, so this brotherly shit, bullshit, bro. It's bullshit.
religious lines, and believing the old hatreds had been buried for good. The simmering tensions of the past were kept in check by a shared ideology and economic prosperity. But the death of Tito in 1980
This guy Tito, he employed 300,000 war criminals.
created a power vacuum, and the forces he had contained for so long began to stir once more. This next part completely changed the fate of Bosnia forever. The story of its unraveling and the creation of two countries within one was just about to begin.
The guys he used as agents and spies in the West were killers and junkies, drug dealers, people who were in prison, who got sent to Europe. Bruv, this guy, he was the baddest guy. He's a fucking piece of shit.
With the centralizing figure of Tito gone, the nationalistic tendencies of the different religious and cultural groups came rushing back in, and Bosnia, the most diverse of all Yugoslav republics, became ground zero. When Slovenia and Croatia declared independence from Yugoslavia in 1991, Bosnia and Herzegovina faced an impossible choice. A referendum on independence was held in March 1992. The country's Bosniaks and Croats overwhelmingly voted to create a sovereign, multi-ethnic state. However, the majority of Bosnian Serbs, encouraged by nationalists in neighboring Serbia, boycotted the vote, wishing to remain part of a Serb-dominated Yugoslavia. The declaration of independence that followed was the final spark, and war erupted almost immediately. The Bosnian War from 1992 to 1995 was not a conventional conflict between armies on a battlefield. It was a brutal war, ripping apart the country's social fabric.
Okay, and now we are forgetting to speak about the agreements. Serbia, Croatia had an agreement to split Bosnia in two. Croatia would take half, Serbia would take half. Europe and America green-lighted it with Russia. It was a plan. It was the battle. The war was supposed, not even a war, bro. It was supposed to. They were gonna go in, take over the TV stations, news broadcasts, all this, power plants and whatever, infrastructure, everything, bruv. The Serbians and the Croatians, and they would like split it, do whatever, take that shit to their country, make that part of their countries, and make the Bosnians third-class citizens in their own home, where they are guests. But yeah, as always, you can take Bosnia with force. You can take it with gifts. You can not take it, but you can be welcomed. You can be welcomed as a friend. You can become Bosnian, but you cannot take this land with force. And America green-lighted it. What's it called? Europe green-lighted it, because we have in Europe we have forces who doesn't want a Muslim majority country. Forget a Muslim majority. They don't want Muslims, bro. So, because if you look at the total Balkan region, where are all the Muslims? All the Muslims who lived there in Ottoman times and all of this, where are the majority? Because Balkan was majority Muslim. Somehow it became majority Christian again, or became majority Christian. So yeah, it's a plan who's been going since the 1800s through Balkan Wars, through the World War One, World War Two. Bruv, this is so much. There's so much backstory to this, but it's easy to understand when you understand it. It's pretty easy. Europe don't want a Muslim country, don't want Muslims in Europe, don't want Muslims in Balkan. America green lights it. It's pretty easy. The Bosnians are winning, so in 4 years there was no peace plan. Somehow, when the Bosnians are winning the war, somehow America steps in and threatens the Bosnians to make peace. Even though the Bosnians were trying to make peace all the way through, without weapons, without nothing, but when the tides turned, then America wanted to negotiate peace and forced the Serbs to make peace. I don't know if they forced them. I don't think they forced them, but they green lighted a peace between Bosnia and Serbia. In the some years before that, a couple of years before that, they green lighted a peace proposal and a peace between the Croats and Bosnians because the Croats were losing. So we got the same situation when the other party is losing that is not supposed to be losing. Then America greenlights a peace plan, but as far as the plan is going accurately and that team that America has chosen that should win, as long as they're winning, there's no peace. So it's fucking dumb with all this fucking Bosnian videos on YouTube because all of them are fucking idiots, bro. When they talk about Bosnia, they don't know shit about Bosnia. They don't know how the Serbs got moved in, when they got moved into Bosnia, when the Croatians got moved in, how, bro. They haven't studied Bosnia, bro. If you just study the last 200 years, everything is clear. Everything is clear. Who is the natives of Bosnia and who are the guests and moved in to Bosnia. So, let's see what this guy has to say.
Neighbors turned on neighbors as radical nationalist leaders sought to carve out ethnically pure territories through campaigns of terror, forced displacement, and mass murder, a strategy that came to be known as ethnic cleansing.
A strategy they have used the last 200 years. Belgrade, the capital of Serbia, was once was a majority Muslim city with 300 mosques. Now there are 0 mosques. So I think maybe one mosque. And the funny thing about Belgrade is it's called Belgrade, which means white city. White city. Why is it called a white city? Because when you saw the city in old times, before the Serbs took over, you would see it was all white. And the reason it was all white was because there were so many mosques, Muslim mosques for worship. It was white. So yeah, that's why it's called Belgrade. So let's see what this YouTube. I wouldn't call this a YouTuber. This guy, he's a Wikipedia. Wikituber.
The Siege of Sarajevo, a city once celebrated for its cosmopolitan harmony, became a global symbol of the horror, as did the genocide at Srebrenica. The dream of a peaceful, independent Bosnia was dying street by street. But the end of the fighting didn't put the country back together. Instead, it would solidify the very division.
Bro, the Bosnians were winning in 95. What is this guy talking about? They were in front of the last city, the stronghold of the Serbians. They were ready to attack. America said to them, "You cannot attack them. If you attack them, we're gonna send the army against you, the U.S. army against you." So, bruv, what is this guy talking about?
The war had created. By late 1995, After years of international inaction, diplomatic pressure led by the United States brought the leaders of Bosnia, Croatia, and Serbia to an airbase in Dayton, Ohio. Their mission was singular: stop.
Again, the Bosnian people was winning, so America wanted to negotiate peace because they didn't know what else to do. They couldn't help the Serbs or the Croats anymore.
The killing. The resulting agreement, the Dayton Peace Accords, successfully ended the war, but to achieve peace, it made a monumental compromise. It affirmed Bosnia and Herzegovina as a single sovereign country with its internationally recognized borders intact.
Bruv, imagine this, the Bosnians. They were so fucking intelligent, bro. They got weapons embargo from the whole fucking world. They got fucking surrounded, bruv. They're surrounded by fucking Croatia to the sea, Serbia to the next, Montenegro who are owned by Serbia. Bruv, they got fucking laser guided fucking missiles in from fucking China through the Pakistanis, through some other guys, bruv. Bruv, America didn't know what to fucking do, bruv. We surprised everybody, bruv. Bruv. The Bosnians surprised everybody, bruv.
However, internally, it split the nation into two highly autonomous parts, or entities. This is the answer to the video's main question. The real division of Bosnia is not between the regions of Bosnia and Herzegovina, or the North and South, it's this political line that was drawn in Dayton, Ohio. The first entity is the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, primarily home to the country's Bosniaks and Croats. The second is Republika Srpska, primarily home to Bosnian Serbs.
America, they gifted Republika RS. Let's just say RS. They gifted RS to the Serbs. America did. They didn't win it. They didn't fight like men for it. They got it by America. And Europe. Let's not forget Europe. Europe is a big part of this. Not forget Europe. France, Germany. Britain. Bruv. Everybody down there knows who did what. Now, because of YouTube, everybody's gonna know the truth. Because, bro, we all know the truth. We don't shut up about the truth. We're gonna tell everybody the truth. There is receipts on everything. That's the thing, bruv. There's receipts on everything. So, let's see.
Each of these countries within a country has its own president, parliament, police force, and distinct political system. Above them sit a weak and intentionally complex central government, requiring consensus from all three founding peoples, Bosniaks, Serbs, and Croats, for any major decision to pass. The agreement performed a political...
Yeah, so the majority Bosnians, who are probably about 70% if you really count in the numbers, and if you really count in the numbers with Bosnians in Turkey and Bosnians in Sanjak and Bosnians in Macedonia, Bosnians in Montenegro, Bosnians in Croatia, Bosnians in Germany, Bosnians in America, if you count in every Bosnians, bruv, it's like Bosnians are 90%, Croatians are probably about, I don't know, man, 5%. And Serbians, no, Croatians maybe 3%, Serbians like, I don't know, bro, 7%. If you really count, not this fake counting.
Political miracle by ending a war, but it also baked the wartime divisions directly into the country's DNA, creating one of the most bewildering political systems on Earth. Living under the Dayton system is a daily reality for...
And now the majority has to do what the small group of people have to control the majority group of people. This is how idiotic it is. This is how much... Bruv, America, America, Europe, what can I say? You are very smart.
Bosnians. The invisible line between the entities is felt everywhere. School children learn from different textbooks that offer starkly different narratives of the same war. Many people live their lives almost entirely within one entity, with separate public institutions and little incentive to cross over. The political structure designed to prevent any one group from dominating the others has instead created a state of perpetual gridlock. Nationalists on all sides can use their veto power to block reforms, fostering a system that rewards division and obstructs progress. This internal paralysis is now the single biggest obstacle standing between Bosnia and its greatest modern aspiration, joining the European Union. Membership in the EU represents a path towards economic prosperity, stability, and, crucially, a final break from the destructive politics of the past. But the EU has strict requirements. It demands functional, centralized.
All that EU talk is a joke, bro. Bosnia's never gonna get into EU. As long as majority is Muslim, it will never go to EU. It will never be EU. Bruv, if fucking Bosnians today converted to Christianity, the Bosnia would be fucking... Forget about the Swiss, forget about Luxembourg, forget about all this Dubai, forget about it, bro. Bosnia would be number one, bruv. But the Bosnians refuse. They don't want this money. They're not interested. That's real men.
State institutions that can effectively implement laws and reforms across the entire country. Herein lies the Dayton dilemma. To move toward Europe, Bosnia must reform its constitution to create a more functional central government. But the very leaders empowered by the Dayton system, particularly in Republika Srpska, see any move to strengthen the central state as a threat to the autonomy they fought a war to secure. The peace agreement that ended the war is now the primary obstacle to building a united future. So why is Bosnia really two countries? It's not because of the historic lands of Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's because of a political line drawn in peace to end a war that created
Drawn when the Serbs were losing the most and were about to break. Bruv, the Bosnian army could have been in Belgrade in fucking 3 days. Not even, bruv. But then, miraculously, America got their finger out of their asses, and somehow there was a peace proposal. And then they get fucked again because they got 4 presidents. So yeah. And let's not forget Europe. Or European Union. So yeah, great work. All this is a fucking lie. He's not even telling half the truth. Anybody who really want to study about Bosnia can go study about Bosnia, study history about the Balkans, and will really get the real picture. Of course, if you study from Western and Serbian Croatian view, of course you're gonna get their history. So, this whole video is bullshit.
the Federation and Republika Srpska. This line is both the guarantor of a fragile peace and the source of a profound paralysis. The heart-shaped land is whole on the map, but its people live in a house divided by design. It's easy to assume that Bosnia and Herzegovina is divided by Bosnia and, well, Herzegovina. But the reality is that Herzegovina isn't a political entity at all. Instead, there's another hidden nation that, at any moment, could destabilize the entire country once again. This has been such a fun topic to explore because I just traveled all the way through Bosnia, including exploring its tiny little coastline to see what that's all about. If you're interested, go check out that episode as well as my other 2 Bosnia videos. I hope you enjoyed learning all about the Western Balkans, made up of the...
Honestly, nobody can destabilize Bosnia because Bosnia will destabilize the whole fucking area. Will fucking destabilize Balkan, Europe, or the whole fucking thing. Not we, the Bosnians. But I know Bosnians, they're like this, they will fuck everything up, bro. If you fuck their thing, they will fuck your thing, bro. So don't fuck their thing, bro. Leave the fucking Bosnians alone. Why you fucking with Bosnians, bro? Serbians, go to Serbia. You wanna be Serbian, go to Serbia. Bosnians be in Bosnia. Croatians, go to Croatia. What's the problem, bro? Croatians, you go to Europe. Serbians, you go to Russia. Be happy, everybody happy. What's problem?
former Yugoslavia
Should we see this next one? Let's see this next one.
countries of Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Serbia, Kosovo, and North Macedonia share a united history and geography. But despite these similarities, every single country except for Slovenia has a shrinking population. So why are so many people leaving this region, and what is Slovenia doing right to keep growing? Welcome to Geography by Jeff. Today we're going to explore the Western Balkan region of Europe, also known as the former country of Yugoslavia. But while the region has improved since the dissolution of Yugoslavia, every country except for Slovenia is still losing people. And as usual, there are geographic reasons that explain this. But first, this week's podcast episode is all about the US state of Alaska. While Alaska is a full state of the region that makes up the former country of Yugoslavia is incredibly complex. The individual nations that exist today, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Serbia, Kosovo, and North Macedonia, form what is now better known as the Western Balkans. This region that would become Yugoslavia was historically...
Honestly, these countries are the real Balkans. I don't know why Bulgaria, Greece, I don't know Greece. Who the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you, bruv? You are totally misplaced, bruv. God damn. But yeah, Romania, not really Balkan. I don't know. Majority, I will say this is Balkan. The other one, nobody care about them.
A crossroads of empires, including the Byzantine, Ottoman, and Austro-Hungarian empires, each of which left its mark on the local populations and cultures. And while today...
Wait, what about the Roman Empire? Bro, the Bosnians were part of the Roman Empire, Illyrians and all of this. Bro, why are you not telling the whole truth? Stop lying, man. Tell us the truth.
Today's video is largely about the independent countries that exist today. We need to first talk a bit about the history of Yugoslavia to better understand that story. The concept of Yugoslavia, which translates to the land of the Southern Slavs, emerged in the late 1800s amid rising nationalism.
It's not the land of no Slavs.
And the crumbling of empires. The idea was to unite the South Slavic peoples, who were then spread across the Balkans, into a single nation state. This vision came to fruition after World War I with the creation of the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes in 1918, which was later renamed the Kingdom of Yugoslavia in 19...
And why was there no mention of the Bosnians, Croats, Serbs, and Slovenes? Why no Bosnians? They're racist, my friend.
1929. This initial formation was an attempt to blend the disparate groups together under a unified banner, but it was marked by internal tensions, particularly between the Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes over issues of federalism versus centralism and the distribution of power. World War II was a turning point for the region at large. The Axis occupation and subsequent liberation struggle led by communist partisans.
Of course, there will be problem. The Catholic Church and their politicians told their people the other is the enemy. The Orthodox Church told their people with their politicians the other is the enemy. How you not gonna have problems, my friend? And these people, they're idiots, they believe them. Because, well, honestly, let's be honest, many of these people are normal farmers. In this time, they would be like, it would be a little small village. Bro, you can make them believe anything, you know? They were not the bright people.
Under Josip Broz Tito, laid the groundwork for the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. After the war, Tito's government managed to suppress national...
That's a lie. Josip Broz Tito didn't lay nothing, my friend. Russia, America, Britain. This is the guys who created Yugoslavia again. With Tito, they made him #1 guy, as if he was the president and he was this freedom fighter and all this, but it was actually America, Britain, and Russia who created this guy. So
sentiments and maintain unity through a federal structure that allowed for a degree of autonomy for its 6 constituent republics: Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Macedonia, later renamed North Macedonia, and Serbia, which included 2 autonomous provinces, Kosovo and Vojvodina. Though
you are forgetting one, you are forgetting Sanjak. Why are you forgetting Sanjak? You have not done your research correct, my friend. You are slubby Wikipedia worker. You are not good.
it should be pointed out that Tito was an authoritarian dictator throughout his reign. Tito's Yugoslavia was unique in its resistance to aligning with neither the Eastern or Western blocs during the Cold War.
That is not true. He allied with America and the Brits. He told Russia to fuck off. Everybody know this. I don't know why this guy's lying, as if Yugoslavia was some kind of utopia or something.
instead founding the non-aligned movement. However, after Tito's death in 1980, unresolved ethnic tensions and economic problems began to surface more prominently. The 1980s saw a rise in nationalism among various ethnic groups, fueled by economic decline.
Again, that's not true because he employed 300,000 war criminals. He employed all the Chetniks who got around and killed civilians, burned civilians. Bro, they did, bro. I think I'll get banned if I told what they did, bro. But you can do your research and you can find it. He employed them. He employed, made them control and captains and whatever it's called over there now. I forgot it in American, and he made them be state employees and all of this shit. So these guys, after the Second World War, they were going around killing everybody who they have a beef with, who they knew was in a different kind of army in the war, or if they knew this family was of a certain religious background, or bruv, they did whatever, bruv. It was, you had the first class citizens, then you had the second class, then you had the third class, and then you had the fourth and fifth class. There were many classes in Yugoslavia, so bruv, I don't know why they're not telling about this. I don't know who the fuck sold them this piece of shit history, fucking utopia shit. This is bullshit, bruv. There was fucking majority of the land in Yugoslavia didn't have fucking up to the 80s and shit. They didn't have fucking electricity. They don't have plumbing. Like they have, like, the shit goes to the fucking backyard, man. Bruv, they didn't have fucking running water, bruv. Yugoslavia, bruv. You don't know what Yugoslavia was, my friend.
And political instability.
Bruv, people had to send relatives and family members abroad to at least make some money so they can come back with the money. Why are we not speaking about this, my friend?
Collapse of communism in Eastern Europe added further pressure. The disintegration of Yugoslavia began in the early 1990s, when Slovenia and Croatia declared independence in 1991, followed by Bosnia and Herzegovina in 19...
Again, now he's just jumping into something and just talking about something. We gotta, if you just take it back to 1990, I think the Serbs had some kind of referendum or something kind of law passed that made Serbia self-controlling or some kind of thing. So already there were already things happening. There were already ethnic tension, people getting dragged out of their homes, beaten, interrogated by police, torture. Bruv, this guy know nothing, bruv. Know nothing.
92.
People were pressured to get out of the army. All kinds of things were happening.
Attempts to maintain a
Weapons were taken from the different republics. They were starting to dig what's it called, trenches for war. Bruv, some 1992. If you started 1992.
unified Yugoslav state led to a series of conflicts, most notably the Croatian War of Independence, the Bosnian War, and later the Kosovo War. These wars were marked by ethnic conflict, atrocities, and significant human suffering, leading to international interventions and peacekeeping efforts. Slovenia and Croatia's path to independence were relatively swift.
There was no peacekeeping, no kind of action. What was there? There was organized ethnic cleansing. And bro, there was no, bruv. Forget about it.
Though not without conflict, particularly for Croatia with the Serb-dominated Yugoslav People's Army. Bosnia and Herzegovina's declaration of independence led...
Serb-dominated? Bruv, what are you talking about? It was Serbs. Majority. It was like... And not even that, all the republics gave freely up their weapons to the Yugoslav army so the tension wouldn't escalate. All their weapon magazines, all everything were given. Why are you not speaking about all of these things?
To a brutal war characterized by ethnic cleansing and the siege of Sarajevo that required complex international negotiations to bring to an end. Meanwhile, Kosovo's struggle for independence from Serbia culminated.
Again, there was no complicated negotiations. The Bosnian people were winning. The Serbians were on the knees. The Croatian already lost a couple of years back. America panicked and made what they made and told the Bosnians, if you don't agree to this, we are sending our army, the US army, NATO army, UN army against you. This is what happened.
In a NATO-led bombing campaign in 1999, leading to UN administration and eventual declaration of independence in 2008, which Serbia has yet to recognize. Montenegro and Serbia formed a reduced federal republic.
Bro, who the fuck cares what Serbia recognizes or not recognizes? Bro, Serbia?
Of Yugoslavia in 1992, which was reconstituted as the State Union of Serbia and Montenegro in 2003, before Montenegro's independence referendum in 2006. Finally, North Macedonia.
The only reason why Montenegro got its independence is so that the real state, Sanjak here, couldn't get its independence, which is majority Muslims from Bosnia. It's majority Bosnian land. This is majority Bosnian land. This is also majority Bosnian land, but here they got ethnic genocided. Here also ethnically genocided and all of this. Bro, if you study history, you will know this.
Independence referendum in 2006. Finally, North Macedonia declared independence peacefully in 1991, but faced challenges related to its name and identity, culminating in a landmark agreement with Greece, which also controls a large Macedonia.
Again, Macedonia got its independence because the Serbians had deeply infiltrated Macedonia in that time. I don't know right now, but in that time. So they didn't feel it as a threat to make this a country and do some kinds of shady things.
Region in 2018. Today, the countries that emerged from the former Yugoslavia are navigating their paths as independent states. But one thing that still binds them all together is their shared geography. But before we get to the physical geography of this region, if you're enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button. More fun geography videos are just a single click away. The Western Balkans, nestled in the heart of Southeast Europe, is characterized by its varied topography, climate zones, and natural features, which have been pivotal in shaping the distinct identities of the now independent states of Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, Serbia, Kosovo, and North Macedonia. The northernmost country, Slovenia, is known for its mountains, forests, and lakes. The Julian Alps, including the picturesque Lake Bled, dominate its.
Honestly, if you guys want to see all of this geographic, just watch the video in full.
Every country in the Western Balkans has been losing people every year except for one, Slovenia. This divergence can be.
Why? Okay, let's just see a little.
Attributed to a mix of economic, social, political, and environmental factors that have shaped demographic changes in these countries since the dissolution of Yugoslavia in the early 1990s. For much of the region, the decline in population is a consequence of several interrelated factors, but economic hardship has been a significant driver. With the wars of the 1990s devastating the economies of the region, high unemployment rates and poor living conditions quickly followed. These economic challenges spurred a substantial migration of young and skilled workers seeking better opportunities abroad, particularly within the European Union, where movement became easier for some of these countries following their accession or association agreements with the EU. Furthermore, the aftermath of the Yugoslav wars had a lasting impact on the demographic structure of the region, exacerbating political instability and ethnic tensions. The wars led to significant loss of life and the displacement of populations. In addition, every country within the Western Balkans has a low birth rate, which is today very common amongst many European countries, but are particularly acute here, where economic insecurity discourages family formation and having children. But Slovenia has managed to buck this trend a bit through a combination of factors. First,
what this
when Slovenia became an
in Bosnia, it's pretty easy. Bosnia is a fucking great country, bro. Bosnia, bro, it's fucking rich, bro. Imagining you have three parties, you have one Bosnian party, and then you have three parties: a Croat, a Serb, and a European, who are doing everything to just rip the country apart, and the the Croatian and the Serbs are stealing with arms and legs, bruv. They're stealing everything, bruv. Whatever. Bruv, if they could sell, I don't know, man. If they could sell the dirt, man, they would sell the dirt, man. But, still, it has money to run. It's not the best, but it's running. But the reason why Bosnians are moving abroad, it's because of Serbians and Croatians. They are making their lives hell, honestly hell, and the Europeans, because they're the guys, European and America, they're the guys who are holding this system by force to exist. So yeah, this is why the Bosnians are leaving. The Serbians are leaving because it's a shithole, because the presidents the last 30, 40 years have fucked them. Honestly, fucked them. They stolen everything, bruv. Everything. Macedonia too, bruv. Bruv, if you see that country, bruv, it's a fucking third world country, bruv. Honestly, Macedonia, parts of Serbia. What can I say about Croatia? Croatia, bruv. Bruv, Croatia sold out, bruv. Politicians in Croatia sold it. There's no Croatia. Honestly, everybody know it in Balkan. Everybody know there's no Croatia. Croatia is sold. Everything worth anything in Croatia is owned by a European or American. Everybody know this. It's honestly, Croatia is living on the tourist. Else, bruv, I don't even know, man. They're living on tourists and buying nuclear waste and storing that. That's the fucking economic model, man. I don't know. So yeah, that's why people are leaving there too. The politicians sold their asses out. So that's why Croatians are leaving. Montenegrins, yeah, they're getting fucked by Serbia. So yeah, bruv, it's very. You gotta go into the history, you gotta go into the people movement, the political movement, everything. But when you get it, you get it.
Independent country, it was a much smoother transition. Instead of a prolonged war for independence such as what Bosnia and Herzegovina had to deal with, Slovenia's independence war was over in about 10 days. This enabled the country to modernize and develop its economy much faster. And this economic stability has made Slovenia attractive for both its citizens and migrants, offering better job opportunities, higher living standards, and a robust welfare system. Additionally, Slovenia's integration into the European Union came in 2004, 20 years ago. And this EU membership has facilitated access to structural funds and investment, boosting the economy and infrastructure. The only other country that's part of the Western Balkans and also a member of the European Union is Croatia, which joined in 2013 and has had a shorter time frame to leverage the new membership. Every other Western Balkan country is currently in the application process for membership, though this process takes a long time. Finally, Slovenia's political stability and social cohesion have provided a conducive environment for population growth. The country has been relatively successful in managing ethnic tensions and fostering a sense of national unity, which has been appealing to both native Slovenians and immigrants. Contrast this with Serbia, which is consistently fueling regional tensions, particularly with Kosovo in the south. All this is to say, however, that Slovenia's growth rate, while positive, is still modest. The country still faces challenges common to the region and the broader European context, such as an aging population and the need for sustainable immigration policies to support its demographic and economic future. Today, the Western Balkans population would be led by Serbia with about 6.6 million people, down from 7 million in 2018. Croatia with 3.9 million, down from 4.1 million.
Honestly, I don't believe there's 6.6 million in Serbia. Bruv, the Serbian government are lying, man. They're lying so much, man. They would fucking make people up if they can. And they will. And they have. Just made fake identities, but...
Bosnia and Herzegovina with 3.2 million, down from 3.3 million. Slovenia with 2.1 million, up from 2 million. North Macedonia with 2 million, down.
In Bosnia, you don't know the numbers because the last time they were made numbers, it's a long time ago. Macedonia, I don't even know. I don't even believe there's 2 million in Macedonia.
Only about 10,000 people. Kosovo with 1.8 million, down from 1.9 million. And Montenegro with 617,000 people, down from 622,000 people. And while the Western Balkans has an interesting story around its population, one very...
Honestly, I think Montenegro is the only country who are really giving the real numbers.
Interesting thing within the region is Croatia's unique shape, where it controls almost the entirety of the Adriatic coast, leaving just a small 12-mile strip for Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Yes, and that is Europe's creation. Creation of Europe.
The peculiar coastline distribution between Croatia and Bosnia and Herzegovina, where Croatia controls the vast majority of the Adriatic coastline, leaving
The West think this is not even Croatian land, this is Bosnian land, all of this. This is just stolen land. Europe decided, oh, we're gonna make a country called Croatia.
Bosnia and Herzegovina, with a tiny 12-mile strip at Neum, has historic roots and geopolitical implications that date back over 100 years. The configuration of the coastline was initially influenced by the Congress of Berlin in 1878, when Bosnia and Herzegovina came under Austro-Hungarian administration, although it remained officially part of the Ottoman Empire until 1908. During this period, strategic considerations led to decisions that would ensure control over key ports and maritime access routes would remain with the Austro-Hungarian controlled areas, which included what is now Croatia. The dissolution of the Austro-Hungarian Empire after World War I and the formation of the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovenes, later Yugoslavia, did not alter this coastal distribution significantly. The internal borders within Yugoslavia were drawn more for administrative and ethnic considerations.
Exactly, the guy just told it. This is Bosnian land, which was stolen by the Austro-Ungar, or what is called, Austrians,
than for equitable access to the sea for all constituent republics.
and given to the Croatians because there was no new agreement. So yeah, this is Bosnian land. This is Bosnian coast, but we don't need it right. Bosnia don't need it right now, so you can develop it, and after some time we will take it back. Thank you very much.
Following the breakup of Yugoslavia in the early 1990s, the international borders were drawn along the same lines of the former internal republic boundaries. This resulted in the independent state of Bosnia and Herzegovina having a very short coastline, squeezed between Croatian territories to the north and south. The Neum corridor serves Bosnia and Herzegovina's access to the Adriatic Sea, splitting what would otherwise be a continuous Croatian stretch of coastline. The Western Balkans are still
Yeah, but soon we have plans to take a little bit more, and we will make hotels here. We will make great hotel, big hotels. We will make casino here with the beach, with food, with a t-shirt to buy. So you look Croatia here, we here. So we make very big bridge here. It will be very beautiful.
splitting what would otherwise be a continuous Croatian stretch of coastline. The Western Balkans are still mostly losing people today, largely because of population and economic conditions that never fully recovered from the various wars for independence. But Slovenia had a much different and far more comfortable path to statehood. And this is shown in its ability to modernize and recover much more quickly. Hey, you should come.
Slovenia, honestly, the living standard a little higher than the Balkans, but not the Balkans, but the three other countries, major countries. But the thing with Slovenia and the rest of Europe, they are not self-sufficient with their population. They cannot. The population don't want to have kids. The population is sick. They need people, educated people from other countries to come to their countries. So this guy is actually wrong. If we gotta be honest, because the Bosnian, when he has enough of money and he's invested enough at home, he's gonna go home. And Slovenia is not getting nothing out of it. Not the population number wise. Of course, they're gonna get taxes. They're gonna get with this. They're gonna make money, but with population wise, they're not gonna have populations. The population not gonna be bigger or higher or self-efficient or what's it called, balanced. So I would mean his analysis is wrong. What he's saying, it's wrong. If we have to be factual.
Come join me in Ireland this October. Together, we'll explore Dublin and Killarney, and of course, have a pint of Guinness. So check out the link in the description to find out more information. I hope you enjoy.
Because many people from Serbia, Montenegro, all the other rest of the, if you say, not Balkan, but Yugoslavian countries, they all, not all, but many of, I don't know how many percents and all of this, but there is a lot that is going to Slovenia. So that is keeping their numbers normal or above or whatever. So yeah, the analysis is wrong. Blah blah blah. It was a blah 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 video. It's a fucking shit ass video. Honestly, bro, this guy's fucking do your fucking homework, bro. Just fucking do your homework. See you guys next time.